Hi, my name is David Skelton and I'm the founder of Safe Air Solutions International. I started Safe Air Solutions for one very personal reason, to find and to share very real, practical ways to relieve the suffering of families from allergies and illnesses that are caused by airborne germs, allergens, bacteria, virus, and odors in your home. I read the EPA headlines that say that indoor air is a serious health risk that's polluted many more times than outdoor air, that 80% of all illness is caused by airborne microorganisms, and that we spend most of our lives in increasingly airtight homes, homes that are ideal breeding grounds where moisture and media combine, where germs, bacteria, virus, odors, and mold flourish. I read the statistics that state that asthma now affects 25% of all children. I had never even heard of RSV, a contagious virus that sends hundreds of thousands of children to the hospital each and every year. Tanya and Laura both suffered through a lifetime of allergies and breathing problems themselves, only to see the exact same problems developing in their children.
I've lived with respiratory problems my whole life, but really have never been that concerned about it just because it was me. It's sort of a way of life for me. But when my daughter started having the same respiratory problems, I was very concerned.
Well, I have a small child, a little girl, and her health is very important to me. And I have severe allergies and have had problems throughout my life. And I felt like taking care of my daughter and my husband and myself and our health, that was a priority for me.
When will you finally get serious about your family's safety, health, and comfort?
We wanted our kids to not get sick as often, and we wanted a cleaner environment in our air system.
Well, my children are in school and they're constantly exposed to colds and viruses and flus, and as a result, they'd come home, I'd get sick, I'd miss work, they'd miss school. It'd go from family member to family member, and we were constantly sick. I thought there has to be a better way.
My daughter Josie was premature, so of course her lungs and everything weren't completely developed, and she kept like a little croup and cough and a lot of problems with her upper respiratory. And she's so little, she didn't know how to tell you what's bothering her.
You see, even though I heard and I read all the horror stories, the truth is that I simply didn't pay attention to them because my wife and I have been fortunate that our own children were blessed with good health.
Are plug-in air cleaners really an option?
All of this changed when my own mother was diagnosed with COPD, a respiratory disease tied to severe emphysema. My mom was convinced, I'm sure because of all the marketing hype, that she needed an air purifier to rid her home of germs and odors and allergens. And so she paid $700 for a popular plug-in unit that claims to clean the air in a 3,000 square foot home. Although I haven't figured out yet how a one-room plug-in unit works through walls and doors. I turned to the internet to research air purifiers. And boy, was I mad when I learned the truth. That $700 air cleaner that they sold my mom could actually make her severe breathing problems worse, much worse. You see, the oxygenated air that it generated is just another name for ozone. And according to the EPA, ozone is a regulated toxic gas that can damage the lungs, cause chest pain, worsen chronic respiratory disease, deaden the sense of smell, and even compromise the ability to fight respiratory infections. I looked closely at the highly advertised Ionic Breeze, but I found that Consumer Reports rated it a poor buy, stating that their tests found almost no measurable reduction in airborne particles.
We actually did a little research looking into this from the individual units, which only covered a small area, which for a small business, we would have had to have had 10 to 12 in this building.
This was a lot like bleach, and from doing research and finding out how dangerous ozone is in the air and how to even be effective, ozone has to be at levels that are dangerous for humans to live in, especially with my small child in the house. That's not something that I liked.
I just didn't feel like it was sufficient because you had to move it from room to room to sanitize each room, whereas Safe Air sanitizes your whole house all the time.
Yes, I am serious about my family's health and comfort, so what's the solution?
Finally, I ran across a study published in the British medical journal The Lancet, and I knew immediately that I had found the solution for which I had been searching for my own home. There was a fascinating study that involved 771 people working in 3 different office buildings over the course of 1 full year, when ultraviolet germicidal radiation units were installed into the air ducts of these large office buildings. Amazing health benefits were reported, including a 60% drop in breathing problems and a 20% overall reduction in sickness and absenteeism. When I dug even deeper, I found that FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, recommends UV germicidal light units because they can destroy or neutralize anthrax, smallpox, tuberculosis, and almost all known biological germs and pathogens. I found that ultraviolet germicidal lights have been used for decades to control airborne infectious disease and staph infection in hospitals, that high-ranking government officials protect themselves by installing ultraviolet germicidal lights in most government buildings. I personally jumped through all kinds of hoops to find someone who would install germicidal units into the forced air system of my home to provide my family with a whole house air disinfection system that would make almost every known airborne germ, virus, bacteria, odor, and mold absolutely harmless without generating harmful ozone.
How can a Safe Air Solutions air disinfection system help my family's health?
Have you noticed how the great aroma of fresh baked cookies fills every room of your house? Well, airborne germs and allergens spread in exactly the same way to threaten your family's health. Safe Air Solutions installs medical quality, germicidal technology right into your home's heating and air system. High efficiency allergy smart filters eliminate dust and odors. Germicidal disinfection lamps destroy the virus, allergens, bacteria, and mold in your airstream and biogrowth on your coils. Catalytic grids remove chemical odors. Safe, germ-free, dust-free, and odor-free air is then circulated throughout your entire home to help keep your family healthy around the clock.
I never like to brag on my children, but they are very rarely sick.
I don't have to worry about missing work. I haven't missed work in over a year due to illness. They haven't missed school. It's great.
Well, we had the Safe Air Solutions system installed the night before we went out of town. And while we were out of town, my daughter contracted RSV, which is a very dangerous virus for a small child, and it's also highly contagious. And after returning home, she recovered very, very quickly. And my husband and I, neither one of us contracted the virus, which I fully attribute that to the Safe Air Solutions system.
Putting the Safe Air Solutions systems in the office has given us more productivity. Everyone stays healthier. And having a small business, it's just made everything more productive and obviously more profitable as a business.
3 years ago, I went to my lung doctor, and I had baseline emphysema, and my asthma was really bad, and he saw spots on my lungs. Well, for the last year, I have not had an asthma attack. And I went to my lung doctor 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he said my lungs look better than they had looked in 3 years. I had the Safe Air Solutions installed in my home, and it has really made a big difference in my life.
My son had frequent asthma attacks, and I was fearful for him having an attack and my not being present, so I would sleep in his room with him to make sure that I was there in case he needed a breathing treatment. And after installing the system, not only did he stop having asthma attacks completely, but he has not had a breathing treatment in over a year.
I have noticed that both of my children are healthier because of Safe Air Solutions. They have both missed less school from illness.
It wasn't uncommon, especially during the winter months, for my wife and daughter both to have these, I call them hacking coughs, for a week at a time. And we went through the winter without either one of them getting sick. And then we went on a trip for spring break, and they both started coughing. And I made the comment to my wife, I said, well, we don't have Safe Air Solutions here in the hotel. And she kind of laughed and nodded and said, the thought crossed my mind as well.
My kids are now 4 and 6 years old. So many of their friends at school miss school. My 6-year-old's missed 1 day in his 2nd grade. My younger child just seems to stay well.
Safe Air Solutions, the only serious solution.
Did you know that in the time it took to watch this video, the air in your entire home could have been disinfected? The people you've heard from are real. Their experiences are personal, heartfelt, and amazing stories of better living by families with elderly dependents or children suffering from asthma, allergies, colds and flu symptoms, and viral infections like RSV, but who now breathe better, sleep better, and feel better since installing a complete Safe Air Solutions system.
This was a wonderful investment in my home.
I get very much peace of mind knowing that my grandchildren will be safe and healthy. I also purchased 2 systems for both of my daughter's homes so that all my grandchildren could be as healthy as they were here.
For us to have gone 6 months without anybody in the home being sick is a big deal.
I would recommend the system from Safe Air Solutions to everyone I know, family members, friends. I have a lot of friends with allergies, small children. Everyone needs one in their home.
I would definitely say Safe Air Solutions is a good investment in my home. I think the whole family has benefited.
I just wish that I could take Safe Air Solutions with me everywhere because unfortunately the fresh air doesn't have the same benefits that they are in my home and in my office does.
Show you care. Choose Safe Air today and breathe better, sleep better, and feel better tomorrow. Thank you for watching.